What's up, y'all? We are back for another Super High Fire live stream on Instagram and YouTube. The last time I did this, I didn't go live on YouTube. I don't know what had happened, but I think I just didn't have the time. I ain't gonna lie to you, and I was just like trying to get together. We are back with another episode of Mental Man Monday live stream, and this one I'm excited about. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It's transparent. I try to be that as much as I can here. I was actually surprised how well y'all rocked with this most recent episode. I'm not gonna lie. All of them, I know how to answer and talk and get to get good stuff out of people and all that good stuff. And all my episodes do have gems. But what I want to tell somebody today is it's always, because I just saw a YouTuber say this, whose YouTube channel just blew up. It's always the episodes you least expect to blow up or to do numbers that be the ones that do the numbers. Like it's always like that. You'll think this one you spend so like this one gonna be the banger. This one gonna be the one that they talking about on Good Morning America, right? And you think it's what you think, and then it don't do the numbers you thought. But then it be the ones that you didn't expect that do. And this is one of the ones they did. Like I got a lot of good feedback from it. A lot of views, like a decent amount of views on YouTube. The clips are doing good on TikTok and YouTube. And yeah, so it's good stuff. So we got a few things we're going to talk about today. We're actually going to recap the episode right now. So I actually have a guest today, somebody who you're going to see more of in the near future. So let me go ahead and introduce him now so we can go ahead and get this episode started. My boy, what's going on?
Yeah, what's up? What's up? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. All right. So can you tell the people what's your name, where you're from, and where you live now?
So, my name is Jamal Smart. I'm from Amityville, Long Island. Born and raised in Amityville, Long Island. I'm a filmmaker. I do IT. I'm a father, and I do anything that comes to my mind, really.
Okay. Okay. Now y'all are gonna see him with an actual interview, but so just to give him a little tease of that, I want him to state what is his goal with his filmmaking. Like how many films have you made, and what's anything current you got going on right now?
So, I made my first film. It's called Behind the Joy. It follows a black family, especially the mother going through a postpartum depression. What inspired this film is I have a bunch of friends and family that went through postpartum depression, and I was always a person that would sit there and listen to them and hear their stories and give them advice. And I felt like this subject it was just not being talked about enough, and their partners, whoever they was with, just like brushed off their feelings, and they just felt like misunderstood, and I just keep spiraling and spiraling to the point that, some people snap, some people got together, but they was never the same after. So that inspired me to make that film. And I am working on two other films. I'm working on a film that it's called Breaking the Cycle. Basically, it's a story about how the environment can either harden you or soften you, through the elements of like doing what you got to do, because sometimes you don't have the skills or the community to really get a job. So sometimes you have to go into the streets, but sometimes the streets will bite you. Sometimes the streets will embrace you,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm going to be covering in that movie.
Okay, good stuff. So, all right, I actually got something I'm gonna give my take on that at the end because it's something I want to
Yeah.
say about this week's episode. But this week coming up. So now this episode was about investments. It was about investing in yourself. It was about, you
Mhm.
know, my guest Andrew Rochetto talked about his app, the Beyond platform, but my unique way of my
Mhm.
creativity, and was able to blend in his app and his background into something that my audience could take from that as far as investing in themselves, sometimes making that leap, and just talking about the mental health space and all that good stuff as far as financial, all that good stuff. So were you able to check out this week's most recent episode?
I checked out some of it. I checked out some of it. Not a lot. I was watching it throughout work and stuff like that. But he said some good points and stuff.
Okay. Anything that's resonated with you, stood out the most from that episode? Anything you could have added to that or changed or didn't like any of that?
Uh, Not really. I think he From what I heard, he had a straight direction, and I like what he was saying. I like what he was saying.
Okay. Okay. Good stuff. So what most people didn't know about that episode was, like I said in the beginning, I did not know, even with doing my research, that he was from St. Louis because I'm from St. Louis. So when we
Mhm.
got to the episode, it was like, oh, okay. And then we talked about that for a hot second. But I liked how he broke down just taking that the risk and that leap of faith. And we talked about that a lot in this podcast just in general, especially where I'm at now lately. But I think that with taking that leap of faith and just, getting used to like entrepreneurial lifestyle, especially full time from somebody who had a full time job and now launching all the way in this, with filmmaking, even with you, do you still have a regular job still, or are you just all in
Yeah,
with the filmmaking?
I work in IT. I work for a hospital.
Okay. Okay.
So
So,
so I have an interesting thing. I feel like you can do both. I think you can be an entrepreneur and still work a regular job. It's just all about time management to me. And
yeah.
it's like how bad do you really want it?
Yeah. No, I agree. It's one of those things where it is a slippery slope because I
Mhm.
actually it's one of them things where it's like it definitely can be done, but I
Mhm.
feel like we're moving into the age where, like I said, you're going to see people doing both,
Yeah.
and it's going to be more mainstream. Now it's
Hmm.
going to be still be full-time entrepreneurs. It's still going to be people who only work their 9 to 5. But I've even stated like some people who are called to 9 to 5s. I wholeheartedly believe they gonna still need a side a hustle, like
Yeah, of course. Especially
coming
especially right now, like
right.
everything is just up. So you're gonna need that extra money.
It's a guy I follow. He's a YouTuber. He's an IT guy, not really
Mhm.
into the whole IT thing. However, his vlog, he's like a big vlogger, but he still works his 9 to 5 job. As far as now, it's a lot of hybrid work, so I'm sure that helps a lot with his content creation. But
Mhm.
I've even known full time. I'm come from education background. I know full
Mhm.
time teachers who are podcasters and sell products and
Mhm.
but dang with education, that's most teachers come alive in the summertime. So that's when they got
Yeah.
them good time off. They really do it. But of course, during the school year, they got some stuff going too. So it's definitely an interesting conversation. And we'll touch back on that a little later. Okay, so for this week, it happened a few days ago, but everybody knows Safaree Samuels. Unfortunately, I mean, he made his own name as a love and hip hop star, but he is tied to Nicki Minaj's. He's Nicki Minaj's ex and Erica Mena's ex. Was they married? Either way, baby daddy too, whether they was married or
Mhm.
not, but baby daddy.
Yeah.
And basically, he has a whole YouTube video. We're not watching all of it. We're just gonna watch a clip I thought was interesting from the video of him discussing his situation with Erica Mena, who has been on a rampage against him for the longest, has painted him as to be the bad guy. I'm not saying I'm not allegedly. I'm not gonna say what I agree with quite yet until we get to the segments. But we're gonna watch this quick clip, and then me and my boy here are gonna give our take on it. So let me share my screen, and let's get to going.
Myself first because I'm either going to end up in jail or worse because I'm dealing with someone whose anger management is just non-existent. When I first moved to Florida, I remember I got a two-bedroom condo, and the first time I had my kids come over there after my divorce, and I started the whole okay visitation week and having my kids for the days I was having them. When my kids first came over in my condo, it made me so depressed because I was like, yo, they just, I felt like they were so confined and I didn't feel good about it. And I said, yo, I got to get a house. I need a house. I can't have my kids running around in this condo and hurting themselves and it just not being a fit to raise, two children in a co-parenting setup. And I found my house. And I'm gonna be all the way blunt and straight up with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I got this house because of my kids. I got this house for my kids. Seeing my kids be here running around is the best feeling. When you have children with somebody who, at the end of the day, it shouldn't even have happened because I should have just noticed certain things when came to parenting. You know, when you're with someone for 3 years and they have a child, and you probably saw the child 3 to 4 times because the child was put off to go live with somebody else. And, you know, you kind of look past it when you don't have kids or you're not thinking about it. I never even like was like, yo, why doesn't your son live here? And then when you finally get to have a conversation with the son and find out why, it's crazy. You know, imagine speaking to a child who's of age and knows what's going on. He's 16 years old. And he says, if I ever had to live with my mother, I would kill myself.
We're gonna stop it there. Okay, so let's go into the first segment for the day as we go through this. So, what does this have to do with mental health? So, like I said, it's a lot of angles we could have went from that video. A lot of angles because that video is like almost an hour. Is it an hour? Let me look. It's no, it's only 30 minutes. My bad. But there's another part to it, I believe. Well, first of all, he confirmed what I thought. I'm like, they were married. So yeah, that's this is not his ex-wife. Mental health wise, so I'm not gonna sit here. She said her story about him. He's giving his rebuttal to defend himself. But my take on it is, and I'm not gonna just say he's done everything right. But what we see in society frequently is women, if a woman bashes a man, she's automatically right.
Yeah.
It never fails. If a woman bashes a man publicly, she's automatically right. But if he defends himself, or if he was to as I say, if he bashed her first, it would have been like, oh my God, he's a terrible person. He arguing with a woman. He don't must not love his mama. All this, they'll pull out everything out of, every rabbit out of a hat. They just do anything with that. But mental health, we saw that video him kind of breaking down, and I believe it is a lot. It seemed like not seem like the kids got pulled on him the hardest. So as a parent yourself, how is it? How would you be feeling in a situation where you couldn't? Because in his case, he couldn't even see his kids. He goes periods without seeing them, and he's made to seem like be made to look as if he's a deadbeat. We can't. They two sides of every
Yeah.
story. So how would you feel in that situation if it were you?
In that situation, I wouldn't publicize it because I feel that is, I guess, is a last resort for him to turn the tide back to his favor. But I wouldn't publicize it. I would handle it off the internet, and the way, it's no excuse for the way she acted. At the end of the day, she's just a person as you and I. But I never liked how he handled that situation because I feel that something has to happen for her to get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what every situation. So we never, and that's the thing with celebrities, we never know what's going on. They're only gonna allow you to see what they want you to see.
Right.
So I'm not gonna take his, oh, I'm so sad and this is happening to me. I'm not gonna take that as face value because we never know what's going on. So I really can't speak from his point of view and stuff like that, and what he should do and stuff like that. What I would do, I would never bring it to the internet. I would, if we have to handle it through courts, we have to handle it through courts. And figure out what's the reason, what is her goal of doing this, like why is she doing this. I'll figure out the why, because to be understood you have to understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't think he understands why she's acting like this.
Yeah. What's funny?
And she never, like, usually when women, like when celebrities do that, they will go live and publicize it and stuff like that. So, and she never did that. He brought it out. He brought it out. So I think there's like an underlying issue of them doing something conniving and them doing something to each other, and whoever gets it out first is going to be able to play the victim.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that goes to the next segment, which is WWID, which is what would I do in this situation? So you said what you would have did. I agree with
Yeah,
the whole YouTube thing. I mean, because it's like I'm not gonna lie, just from the clips that I've seen throughout the year, she's have brought this up on national TV about him being a
yeah,
deadbeat. And I guess he was just like, this is my final resort, to talk about this because she claimed he don't talk to her. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those situations we really don't know, but I do believe it's three sides to the story. And I
mhm,
believe that there's something that we obviously know something we don't know,
yeah.
but it's something each party is not saying.
'Cause every action has a reaction. There's
Yeah.
something that's going on to make her react like that, and vice versa. So I would if me, I wouldn't bring it to the internet. I was just like, yo, if you're gonna act like this, I'm just gonna handle it in court. You
But
can get
but
arrested. 'Cause I'm not gonna sit there and I'm not gonna sit there and match energies because at some point y'all both look dumb.
that's the thing. They both look dumb, unfortunately. But what I will say is it's a point she's made through over the years and that he just made in the video, the red flag thing. And I want to bring that up because I talk about red flags frequently.
Hmm.
Because we serve a good God. God always allows you to see the red flags in people. You
Yes.
chose to ignore them. They were there.
Mhm.
You didn't look at them. You was like, well, maybe it was this. And then you make excuses for it because you really like the person. And that ain't even always romantically. Sometimes that's just friend wise. And
Yeah.
those red flags be looking like six flags sometimes. So now you didn't enjoy this. And you like, well, like he made the comment, well, I've never seen her with her other son, or the son told her that if he lived with her, he would kill himself. And I believe just based on the stuff I heard throughout the years about the son, I don't couldn't spot him in the lineup.
I
I'm
didn't even
sure.
know she had another son.
Yeah,
I didn't.
he's older. He's older. I know they got some issues. I don't know what they are, but you know what? And I hate to say this. You know, there are some women that just have issues with men, the gender in general,
Yeah.
and it's always something. I talked about this on a recent episode. What was it, last week or was something? I talked about it recently where I was like, you never worked at those jobs and you had like a female boss and she was just like very like picky at only you, and even it would be kind of like the discussion amongst the group or amongst the staff, like she
Mhm.
got something with me. And I had an old principal like that where it's just like she always had issues with male teachers, and it was just like, what's wrong? Like they just kept picking, and sometimes unfortunately it'd be women that look like us, and it's
Yeah.
like, why are you always picking at the black man? And one thing about me is I don't want to throw up like making an excuse like, oh, is you messing with me because I'm a man or because I'm black? And it's like, not
Hmm.
necessarily, but I don't want it to be that, but it's just kind of looking that way. Because if you take every
Hmm.
situation and hold it to the light, it's like, what's going on here? So,
I
all
never
right.
had an issue with you know, of color and power. I always had an issue with men in color and power. Like the thing they try to throw their weight around because I had they try to throw their weight around.
Yeah.
Like I remember way back I had a situation but I didn't understand because if I see another black person, I'm gonna embrace them. And I didn't
Yeah.
understand why I wasn't feeling that same embrace. And I guess when people tell me he felt challenged, like I'm the only person that's supposed to be here. Why are you here? And I think that's a lot in the especially in the work field that black people when they see with white collar when they see other black people, it's like they look at them as competition. Like it's all that crab in the barrel type of mentality.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I,
that's
I
a real thing
never
too.
I never experienced that. I never experienced that with a black woman though. Black women always embrace me. It's
Yeah.
just black men they see me as like a challenge to try to get me to crack or break.
I don't know. That's weird, but it's a real thing for sure. I definitely
Yeah.
have seen it. I don't think I experienced that. Kind of, kind of. And
Mhm.
I say that because at once another school I used to work at, I had a black male principal, and I was excited.
Mhm.
And he was very like you know those people that are like they're just naturally. Now he wasn't necessarily weak, but he was
Hmm.
just kind of soft spoken. Like he only kind of spoke when he needed to, and it
Yeah.
was a lot of things going on throughout the school year with me that he ended up coming out at the end of the semester and was just like, I've heard all the rumors and things, and he was just like, but your reputation is everything, especially as a black man needing this space, and and he was just like basically giving me words of advice, and I'm just kind of like, nigga, you waited till now to tell me that's the last day, and I ain't coming back next year. Like you could have. My issue was you could have helped stop this at the beginning because see,
Hmm.
the higher ups they be busy,
Hmm.
but if somebody's, I'm the type of person, I ain't been no boss or no company, but when I am,
Hmm.
if these people are complaining about somebody, I'm the type to say, let's just have a group sit down so we can get past this. Because if you keep the
Yeah.
he say, she say going, it's just gonna keep going and going and going. And a lot of times, I feel like these these bosses and these head honchos and CEOs sometimes are obsessed with these types of shows like the Love and Hip Hops and the Housewives and the things like that. And I think sometimes because they can't do it in those shows, they like to keep drama going in real life. And I only say that because what people fail to realize is these types of things speak to your subconscious. So if you're constantly drilling or yourself with these types of shows on a regular basis, eventually it's going to come out in your mannerisms. It's going to come out in
Yeah.
how you handle
And your
situations.
subconscious.
Yeah.
It's gonna appear in your subconscious, and now you're gonna display those things.
So I think sometimes because people like low key like drama, they like, I'm gonna just let this keep going when you could have just stepped in from the beginning and just
Mhm.
stopped this, and then it wouldn't have been all this. Now it's all this whole big old thing. It could have been
It's
stopped.
be. I feel like it's because they don't really do nothing outside of work. So
Yeah,
when they see that bit of drama, that excites them. It's the same psychology as when um when people in sports
yeah,
and they say, "Oh, my team's going to the Super Bowl." They live vicariously through that, and I feel like they cannot be in that drama, so they live vicariously through you, and
yeah.
they create this scenario, and it's entertainment for them because they know that they will never be in that drama because nothing else happens for them outside of work or outside of what they're doing.
And unfortunately, and that's sad. That's how it is. But
Mhm.
it is what it is. All right, let's go to the next segment, which is WWJD. What would Jesus do? So with them, obviously the most ethically and morally correct thing to do. There still seems to be, and y'all comment on YouTube and on Instagram what y'all think about this situation. Communication is terrible on both sides.
Yeah.
That's clear. And I don't know. Like I said, I'm not gonna say because we've seen her on TV have anger issues, but like I said, with him, he was with her all them years. He knows her triggers.
Mhm.
So you know what's gonna get her going. And I feel like he could easily, but it's a pride thing. And he could easily just like maybe do this, then the third, and just end it. But it's like he keeps doing stuff. He's one of them people to me that comes off like he throws a rock and hide his hand.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, it's either he likes it or he knows it. Because in his state of celebrity, and both their state of celebrity, they have to stay relevant. And this is what happens when you need to stay relevant. So it's just a play for attention on both sides.
Do you feel so? I'm gonna get to my question in my next segment, but I'll say
Yeah.
this: if you were talking about ethically and morally correct thing to do in this situation, we already stated, taking keeping off the internet as a father,
Mhm.
and you are a husband, correct? Right?
Yeah. A husband?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, as a father,
Yes.
dealing with a mother, and
Mhm.
I'm sure it's good times and bad. It's been, I'm saying, throughout the years or whatever.
Mhm.
What would be the most ethical thing to do when the woman who is the mother of your child is now, say, she's irate, she's on 10, she's on 0 to 100, she didn't went crazy?
I just
What
walk away.
would be, you said what?
I just walk away and call the police. 'Cause I'm
Okay.
not. I'm not gonna bring myself down to that level.
Okay.
There's no reason to risk my freedom, risk causing more damage and more trauma. I just walk away and say like I'm just gonna let the police handle it. Then I have all this evidence. I was what I let the police do what to do. I provide the evidence and it's like, yo, if I feel like you're not mentally there, I'll just take my kids because they're in a dangerous environment.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Has anything like that ever happened to you?
No, not really. I'm a person that we're gonna talk. It's gonna be me, you against the problem. That
Right.
problem is not us. It's me, you against the problem. That's my
Yeah.
philosophy why I handle things. Because the problem didn't exist when we were together. The problem is there. So we are not the problem. You're not the problem. I'm not the problem. The problem is the own thing, and it's me and you against the problem. So that's
Okay.
how I handle things.
Okay. That's a good response. And then finally, y'all, final segment before we move to the final topic is WSMD, which is what your men do in this situation. In short, keep your cool. As hard as it is, as easy as it seems to just react, turn up with her, you're gonna always lose. Because if she
Mhm.
did be petty, get you to react and call the police, you're gonna look like the aggressor. If you did go crazy, it's oh my god, are you going off on the woman? What's wrong? It's just a lose-lose regardless. So you have
Yeah.
to
Just
you going
walk away, swallow your pride. You can't win every battle. It's impossible.
yeah.
You can't win every battle. It makes no sense because you would have no stamina for the war.
I like that. You can't win every battle. You have to be standing for the war. Pick your battles wisely. And that's how
Yeah.
we're gonna end off this segment, go to the final one. So the final segment for today talks about YouTuber Lil Woody, who's made his name on YouTube, and he's in 20 V1s and just everywhere. He's
Mhm.
pretty funny, but he he went against Young Thug on the stand. So we're gonna watch this clip of him apologizing, and then we're gonna give our take on this real quick clip. All right, let me share my screen and let's watch it.
In that courtroom say one thing to Thug right now, what would that be?
I'm sorry.
What you sorry for?
The pain, the suffering, everything I caused on him and his family, society, the courts. Um, I'm sorry for everything. I wish I had the strength and the mindset I have now. Um, I never forgive myself because you know what I mean. No matter what happened, you know what I mean. I took him through a process that I should never took him through. Even though I know I'm not the cause of it. If I knew that it would have did that, I would never be so evil as I was.
But if you could walk in that courtroom and say one thing to Thug right now, what would that
All right. All right. So let's go to the first part, which is again, what does this have to do with mental health? So as we see, this man is suffering um, for getting on the stand against his friend. And did you know about him doing that? Or do you even know who he is?
Yeah, yeah. I've been following the trial. It's just what he's going right now is guilt. He can no matter how much fame and success you can go through, that guilt will never leave you, and that's what it is. It's just guilt. And I felt like he used some of the 48 powers of law to really get where he needs to get to. He played the perfect courtier. He did not commit to anyone. He didn't commit to Young Thug. He never did. He always denounced him, even in like during the trial and stuff like that. So he has a mindset that he's in for himself, and now he's just feeling the guilt and all the people calling him this and that, and people are looking at him weird, and probably some of his close friends and family are, you know, looking at him funny, like, yo, you did this, and why you letting that man suffer?
Yeah.
Even though I felt they're all guilty, but it's just he's just feeling guilt.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because all these people say they with you
Mhm.
until it's time for something to happen, and then everybody do what they're gonna do. But I feel as though it just goes to show you, I don't care how many pictures they take with you, I don't care how many people, because some people, especially hood niggas, a lot of
Mhm.
times they think if somebody will kill or fight for you, they'll do anything for you. But y'all have to understand, not saying he did any of those things, but just the nature of, we know those type of people.
Yeah.
They think that that's something like, oh, they'll fight for me, they'll kill for me, they'll rob for me. They like doing those things,
Mhm.
so they get something out of it. It
Yeah,
ain't just
it's
because
an
they,
opportunity for them to do that, express
yeah,
that. You feel
yeah,
me?
yeah.
But I really feel like you're born alone and you die alone. You can't
Yeah,
really commit to. You can't really to commit to anyone. You feel me? Because it will be a downfall.
yeah.
So
No, for sure.
sometimes, like you gotta be a friend. Treat the person the same way you will be treated. But if somebody's morally wrong, somebody's morally wrong.
Yeah,
That's how I see it.
yeah. I feel bad because he is wrong. It is
Mhm.
clear, and his mental health is eating him up. And it's
Mhm.
like, let's go to the next segment. What would I do in this situation? So his mental health is eating him up, and he feels like crap, feels terrible. He wish he didn't do it. It kind of makes you, which is all this podcast is all about, helping young men make good decisions. He probably wouldn't have had to make that decision had he not been in the situation at all. And the stuff that they was doing, and it once again goes to show you, and let this be a lesson, you don't have to be like a little Woody, because if you stop hanging with the people, remember what we talked about earlier, the red flags, and I said it
Yeah.
wasn't just limited to relationships, like romantic, is also friendships as well. Them people ain't right.
Mhm.
Let's give an example. I had a homeboy years ago, I used to work with him. Me and him was dummy cool. This dude used to rob people. He stayed in and out of jail. He one of the coolest people you ever meet. He was in a situation, had a birthday event in my house years ago. He came over, they ate and stuff. I found out he robbed somebody in my apartment complex during my birthday event and came back to my house. And I was like, looking at him crazy, and I laughed it off. I never hung out with him again.
Yeah.
I just would see him. I say, "What's up? What's good?" But I said, I can't hang out with you. And then, but see, again, had I would have stayed cool with him, even though I probably wouldn't have felt guilty because that ain't my lifestyle. If I had to take a stand, get on the stand against him,
Mhm.
but you wouldn't have to get on the stand against nobody if you stop hanging with people that ain't right for you. But see, if you trying to live up to an image, or you trying to live a lifestyle that you didn't got told you need to stop living.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't even be in that situation because I would stop hanging with them in advance. But that's just me. What about you? What would you do in that situation?
Like I said, I wouldn't be in that situation. But if somebody has that fixation that they need to commit crime, there's something off about them. I will try to see like what is the reason that you feel like you have to do it? Is like a rush of adrenaline? Is like you feel like you need more? Like do you have no you don't have no like respect for yourself or anything? I would try to yeah, I would talk to that person like, I know you do this and I know you do that, but why?
Yeah,
And they're most of the time they're very like blunt, like they'll give you a reason, and I'll try to relate it to something like, but you can do this, you can do that, and I'm only gonna tell somebody somebody one thing, and
yeah,
if I feel like there's no changes, or you're stuck in the same routine, or you're just stuck in the same mentality, I won't be your friend,
yeah,
because there's no growth in that friendship. There's no iron and iron sharpening iron. We can't build or do anything together. So yeah, if Woody feels like this and I was in shoes, like just take it on the chin. Do what you got to do to make yourself feel right in your soul and your spirit, because you're gonna have to answer someday. When you either when you're dead or you're alive, you're gonna have to answer.
like I said, YouTube, the numbers is popping on YouTube. I want them to comment. Somebody watching this is gonna need to say something, because it's too many people watching today and ain't nobody comment. I need the comments.
How many
WW
views you got on YouTube?
It's in and out. The numbers keep going up, then they'll go down, but it's
Okay.
decent numbers. But okay, so WWJD, what would Jesus do? So now let me throw the monkey wrench, and this is what people don't want to hear:
Mhm.
redemption and forgiveness, right? So the redemption arc, as with any anime, every in most television shows,
Mhm.
I believe everybody can be redeemed. Lil Woody can be redeemed from this situation. The issue is, well, one, Young Thug, we can't say what Young Thug gonna do or shouldn't do, but forgiveness, we all are called to forgive. And I get the logic. This is somebody who held grudges and will stay mad at you and never talk to you again. And although, like I said, it's still somewhat of a struggle, but nowhere near what it used to be. And understanding the importance of forgiveness, because and you hate to hear it, especially as somebody who held grudges and was keep it, it's still there a little bit, but not like it used to be.
Mhm.
You understand that when you holding grudges, that's on you, not them. Because
Yeah.
and people say, like, and when you hear that, it sound good, like it sound good on paper, but it's still like it's kind of like you making people punish. Because say if somebody really want to be cool with you or really want to be back rocking with you, whatever way, and you not doing it internally, I'm gonna be honest. Internally, you like to that hurt, don't it? Now they upset because you really not giving them what they want or whatever.
Mhm.
So Young Thug could stay mad, and we could justify him doing it. However, in Young Thug's case, remember we speak on what men should do.
Mhm.
If he didn't do all that stuff, you wouldn't have been here.
Mhm.
So it's like you should have known people was going, because at the end of the day, these people got families and lives and stuff too. So they can't risk all that. But Young Thug has to forgive him. Of course, he don't, of course, have to. It will be good for him that he does. But what I want Lil Woody to do, if he does see this, is he needs to forgive himself. Because if not, it's just gonna eat him for the rest of his life, and then it could cause other issues where it could lead to mental health issues or
So how do you feel? How should Woody forgive himself? What steps you think he should take?
well, first of all, I think he may need to take
Because
a
he
go.
apologized. Of course, he apologized where it's marketable and it's for content. But how should he really start the forgiveness of himself?
So first of all, he needs to find some way to get in contact with Young Thug family, whomever he can. Whether he don't want to send a text, if he want to do it like the old school days and write a letter. Write a
Mhm.
letter. I think it's hard being a social media personality. I think he may need to take a sabbatical from social media. I think he needs to do that. I think he needs to write a letter, write it out. I think he got the money. He might need to go. Like I said, I'm not a therapist or expert, but I've been to therapy 2 different occasions. I think he needs to go get a therapist to help work
Mhm.
him through that. But also, I really know for a fact that he needs to lock in with God for real, because that's the only way you can really get over that. Because if not, those two are there, all those things, you'll be a whole new person. Because if not, you'll never forgive yourself, and then what happens if you start to contemplate you don't want to be here? Because let's keep it 100, he getting trolled.
Yeah.
So that's why I said that's where the sabbatical from social media come in. You need to take a break, because say for instance it hit you one day, that fear or that anxiousness hits you one day and it's real high, and then you see a comment, which they do, you should go
Yeah.
unalive yourself. How dare you do that to Young Thug? You done ruin his life.
Mhm.
That's gonna hit you.
I think it's far worse than Instagram. I think that's his own self conscious telling him that.
That's what
I
I'm
think
yeah.
I think it's beyond. I think it's beyond social media and the trolls and stuff like that. His own self conscious is probably telling him that he needs to, do something to himself. I never want a man. I never want any person to die over their thoughts and stuff like that because they feel worthless or they feel like they don't belong on this earth. Everyone has a place and a belonging on this earth. He really needs to, you know, pay for his sins.
How do you
And
think he needs to do that?
he needs to tell the truth. Truth will set him free, and really tell people what he did and how can he make things better, set things right.
Okay. Final segment, WSMD. What should men do in this situation? So, like I said before, if you got a friend, let's say you the young thug, we're gonna do both sides of the ball.
Okay.
If you the young thug and you doing something, here's the thing with the good God that we serve, there's always grace. And
Yes.
you don't always get caught the first few times. So
Mm-hmm.
let this be the sign. If you're doing something wild, let this hopefully be the conviction you need to hear. If you're doing something wild, you ain't supposed to be doing, whether that's scamming, whether that's cheating, whatever, whether it's something extremely illegal, big fraud, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Let this be the video of conviction to stop doing it now while you can get away with it. Because see,
Mm-hmm.
the issue is y'all don't have no discipline, and there's a greed thing. There's a greed situation, and so now you can't stop doing it because you're greedy. So keep that in mind. But from the Lil Woody scenario, if you on the other side of the ball, and it ain't even always a court case, you might have talked too much. Whatever it is you did that you beating yourself up about, remember that they always tell you. You can't go to the next level. I had this analogy this week. It was crazy. So everyone knows that I ghostwrite for people and I've done things as far as like the different courses, content and things for people. And so there was a course I had to take for somebody. And it says you cannot go to the next level until you pass this test. And I had to keep retaking the test until I passed it. But I got the revelation from that. Until you do this thing first, you won't be able to go forward. And so sometimes what people fail to realize is with forgiveness is even biblically stated that if he can't forgive you, if you don't forgive others, but it also means yourself. So keep in mind, you are holding yourself back by not forgiving yourself. And it's not going to be an easy process, but it's definitely doable.
I just had that conversation with one of my friends. Right. So she was going through a lot of friendship struggles with people
Uh-huh.
that they wasn't on the same level as her.
Yeah.
And that's not like classism or anything. They don't have the same mindset or they going in the same direction. And I told her before like these friendships, went sour that, you might have to cut off these people so more doors can open for you. Because those people are holding you back. And it's not like they're not good people. You just have to put them in places where they can't hold you back. I always say put people in places where they can't disappoint you. Because when you become friends with somebody or you meet somebody, you automatically have expectations. And when you create expectations for people, you're creating a person that doesn't exist. People only gonna show you who they are by showing them who are they or whatever. But
Know what you mean?
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So my advice was to her is like, yo, I think you should end this friendship or just, you know, drop her in the ranks because you're not supposed to eat at the same table. Not everyone's supposed to eat at the same table. Some people can go out party. Some people you can make money. Some people you can introduce to your family. I think you just need to put her in a separate table. And once she did that, more things started opening up. More opportunities started opening up. More things that she was working towards and he needs glass ceilings. She started shattering through it.
Yeah. Definitely. And then
And it's like I followed that philosophy to the T. If a person is not, I don't feel like a person is going in the same way that I feel like they're going. It doesn't. It's no good to hold on to that because it only gonna hurt you and hold you back. Because you
yeah.
get associated with that.
Yeah. Definitely. And I agree wholeheartedly with that as well. Okay. Good stuff. All right. So this week's episode coming up is about featuring my boy Deshaun. And you got to tune into the episode. It was actually recorded a little while ago, but the episode is about teaching men how not to be weak.
Mhm.
And we go through from different angles of that. So be prepared for that. And I thought it was interesting
But
because,
what's your definition of weak?
well, we cover all that in the episode. So it's not
Okay.
the typical, it's not like, oh, you weak because you can't lift 225 pounds or you
hmm
weak because you crying. It's more so, I don't want to give too much away, but I will say we do speak on the red pill community.
hmm
And here's the thing with the red pill community. I'm subscribed to no pill.
hmm
But what I will say is I agree with some things they're saying, but a lot of the things that they say come from a place of hurt, whether they realize it or not.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm not gonna get too much into it. It's a good one, and I'll talk more about it later. So thank y'all for tuning in this week to the live stream. We got another hot fire episode next week. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to stay on afterwards. And I'll be back this week with a hot fire episode. So PSA signing out. Always remember, keep your head up like your neck hurt. Remember who you are. Make your mind up. Don't let it make you. And remember, I love us for real.